BITCON24, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at it again with another dope segment. I'm the voice of the South, Q Smitty. Back at it again with some great interviews and a new perspective on life. So, as you can see, I'm with a very special guest. I really appreciate her work of art. I know you appreciate her work of art. You have seen her in the legendary movie, The Wood. But we're not here to talk about a movie. We're here to talk about a nonprofit organization that she is doing great things in and creating a better future for our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Malinda Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was a lovely introduction. I appreciate it.
Hey, that means a lot. I thank you so much for coming on the platform to talk to us. So tell us about your nonprofit organization and what brings you here to BITCON24.
Yeah, so back in 2023, I started the Arise and Shine Foundation, Inc., and it is a nonprofit, and our mission, and it is at as4women.org if you want to support or find out more about us. But it is a nonprofit organization, and we support women and helping to bridge and close the gap for women at HBCUs in technology. But our mission is to serve the underserved and underrepresented in our communities.
And the underrepresented, can you give us a success story of someone who may have been underrepresented and they were able to be represented through the nonprofit organization?
Yeah, so I can give you lots of success stories. Like I said, we just started our organization in 2023, but we originally started as a women's empowerment organization where we had women's empowerment brunches and workshops and virtual programming. And really what we wanted to do was build a platform that let women know, women of color specifically, know that they were valued, that we are out here fighting for you, that you matter. And because for me, a little bit about my background, I grew up in a household with 3 girls. So I come from a very strong family background where we put our sisters first. And so my father and my mother built a foundation of confidence for us. So when I went out into the world and I went out into Hollywood, I felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do, run through a wall. Like I was just super confident. Confidence was my superpower. And but I then quickly learned that everyone did not come from that type of background, and that people are out here feeling less than, you know, their optimal selves, like they can't express all their gifts. They have imposter syndrome, or they're afraid to speak up for themselves. And so having that platform that I have through entertainment was where I felt a responsibility to help other women use the gifts that they did have, but then also help to build them up through various tools, through affirmations. I have an affirmation card deck. I wrote a book, you know, that is, for me, it's like a self-help memoir.
That's great.
So it just has anecdotes in it about, you know, times that I was down, how I pulled myself out of a valley, got back up to the mountain, fell in the valley again. But, you know, it all started as a women's empowerment platform. And then in 23, I established the Arise and Shine Foundation to serve the younger women. So it was about me bringing my peer group, the resources that we have, and the connections and the network and the knowledge to women at HBCU so that we could share that information and help to build them up and help, you know, pay it forward to the next generation.
And that's amazing, because I really feel like 2024 is a great time for women to rise up and do great things. So with women being the leaders of the future, what would you say is the main thing that women should really focus on when it comes to leading the community in the right way for today and beyond?
I think there's several things. There are plenty of things. I can't just, you know, hone in on one thing that we need to do. I mean, our community needs our support in a plethora of ways, right? But I will say the foundation of that support has to be rooted in wellness, mind, body, and soul. You know, someone said earlier, I was in a session, that we need to get ourselves well. And that means that we need to physically be responsible for what we're putting in our bodies, what we're putting on our bodies, how are we moving our bodies. We owe longevity to moving, exercise. So we have to get physical. We have to encourage one another. We have to encourage, wellness as, health being wealth, as success. So I think that's, if I had to point to one thing, when we get well, when we are well, that there's nothing we can't do.
Wow, you just said something then, especially with, I believe, with women promoting health like that, that's going to help us as men, because rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan, he just passed away.
Oh, wow. So
and
sorry.
I feel like, health is wealth. And I feel like with you ladies promoting health like that, that's going to make us men get on our stuff and get on our job. So you're here at BITCON24. Talk to us about the significance of working with BITCON specifically to promote all these messages here.
Yeah, so I'm here at BITCON24, which I'm very, just pleased and honored to be here. But I was on a panel earlier with Darrell Booker from Microsoft and Isaac Hayes III of Fanbase, and we were on the panel together, and it was titled "Leveraging Celebrity to Increase Equity in Tech." Right? I'm paraphrasing the title, but that's really what it was about. And so I, as a celebrity, right, because really I'm just Malinda Williams, I'm Beverly and Fred's daughter, I'm Lisa and Leslie's sister, I'm your friend, right? And I have this platform, so people then say you're a celebrity. So fine. But if I have that platform, I feel a responsibility and a duty to my community to help them get well, whether that is the mind, body, soul wellness or economic wellness. And I think if you're thriving in your career or if you're thriving in your business, then you're economically well and you have holistic wellness. So that's why I'm showing up here and showing up in the way that I fit in, right? And so I have a story, a background in tech, if you will. Life has peaks and valleys, and I at one point found myself in a valley. I was going through a life crisis, and I was struggling. And one of the ways in which I was struggling was financially. And so I remember just kind of being on the proverbial bathroom floor, asking God, why am I here? And just in my soul hearing, listen, if you want to see different results, you are going to have to put in different work.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I was at the bookstore, where I definitely frequent the bookstore, looking for a self-help book, and HTML for Dummies fell off the shelf. And so I began to teach myself how to code. I started teaching myself various programming languages. I started building websites, and that's how I was going to show up different in the world. What it did for me was it taught me about myself. It taught me the power of my own resilience. It taught me how I could use technology as a tool to get up off the bathroom floor, to pull myself out of the valley. So when it came time for me to teach others or share that information, it was, this is a tool. But I also knew I could see the future of our industry changing through technology. I saw how fast technology emerged. Newer technologies were coming up. And so I felt also a need to sound the alarm to some of my colleagues in entertainment to say, hey, this thing is about to change. It's about to shift our whole world. And it's about to shift your money. It's about to shift your art. It's about to shift things. So what are you going to do? What are we going to do? We may not know, but we're going to have to do something. So that's kind of how that was my sort of introduction into tech. And then when I started the foundation, when I decided that it was time for me to stop using my platform just for my own purposes and my own gain, I shouldn't say I decided. I think God called me to use my platform for more than just my own enrichment and advancement.
Wow, that's powerful. Did y'all just hear that? Like, that's amazing that she's using her power and her platform to share with the rest of the world to create a more progressive future. And she was very transparent about her struggles. And I think that's what we need to hear I guess if you want to put a title to it, that's what we need to hear from celebrities. We need to hear that from people who we see on the TV and we admire a lot, and we realize that, hey, they're human too, they go through things too, but hey, they overcome it.
Yeah.
And you've overcame it, and you are sharing your story with the rest of the world. So I really appreciate you, Ms. Williams, for coming on this platform and sharing that story. Are there any final words that you want to give to the people out there?
Yeah, I would just like to say I share my platform, but I think no matter how big or small, because it's relative, right? If you have one person following you, you are an influencer. You can influence someone. I always say what I do is not for everybody. It's for somebody. It's for somebody. So whenever I'm hesitating or I'm scared or I'm feeling fearful of moving forward, I think about that somebody who is waiting for me to make that move, write that book. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be millions of people. It can only be one. And that one person could be, all the Barack Obamas, the Martin Luther King, there's one person who changes the millions. You might be the one person that changes that one person.
All we need is one, because all is one.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, and I got one thing to say, final words.
Yes.
I said, stop it, Stacy. That's all I wanted to say. Well, thank you so much for coming up here to this amazing event. I appreciate you for sharing these words of inspiration. BITCON24, we are here, and we are live, baby, going in. Y'all keep it cool, keep it smooth.